stop worrying and start thinking. Have you ever even taken time to think about it? Like to even ask yourself, like, do I worry or do I think? Is there even a difference? When you think, what happens? And when you worry, what happens? Have you ever thought about it? Okay, today I'm here to give you the difference and even to tell you that if it's possible, you can start training yourself to stop worrying and start thinking. Now, in the Bible, the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 7, it tells us that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And then James Allen says that all that a man achieves or fails to achieve is the direct result of his thoughts. Whatever you have achieved, whatever you will ever achieve, whatever you will fail to achieve, and whatever you fail to achieve, it's just a result of your thoughts. It wasn't because of circumstances, as we always blame that this and this, I would have done this, but because of this, no. It's because you thought either you couldn't or you limited yourself. So whatever comes out, whatever we see, even out of the fullness of heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever happens in your brain is what is reflected in the physical world. So is there a difference between thinking and worrying? Of course, yes. Thinking is a process of considering or reasoning about something. It is deliberate, it is intentional. It is the action of using your mind to produce thoughts, using your mind as a tool. But some of us, we don't know the power of the mind, of this tool that we have. So we leave it to wander aimlessly everywhere to think whatever it has. But it is a tool that if we learn how to use it to produce productive thoughts, we can actually make a difference in our lives and also in the lives of others. And yet worrying on the other side is just a mental distress resulting from concern, usually for something impending or anticipated. So you realize that most of the things we worry about are things that are anticipated. They are not literally happening in reality, but we are thinking. Have you ever thought of, something is paining me, what if it is this, what if it is this? So your mind wanders and brings all the negatives, expectations that you can have. And yet when you go to the doctor, they say, actually this is something quite small. So that's what happens when we worry. So at the end of the day, we are anxious, we are feeling troubled about the potential problems. They are potential, they are not yet problems. Thinking, on the other hand, is deliberate, as I said, so it is productive. It produces solutions, it produces ideas. And yet worrying, on the other hand, saps emotional strength, makes you restless, jumpy, and anxious. It causes you insomnia. When you have something that is disturbing you and you actually fail to sleep, then you know that you are worrying, you are not thinking. And once you discover that one, then you can take a U-turn and say, hey, let me think about this instead of worrying. So worrying also causes physical problems, health issues, stomach problems, ulcers, muscle tension, heart problems. And if you're trying to concentrate on something and then you're worrying, then your concentration levels are going to be very low. So in other words, worrying is destructive, it is negative. And you realize that we worry about so many things, and yet the things that can actually happen are very few, and yet the things that actually do happen are very minimal. So we suffer a lot in our minds in thinking than in reality. So thinking is a skill that can be developed, that can be learned. But even in this thinking as a skill, there are other smaller skills that you need to learn. For example, the first one is big picture thinking. This is the ability to think beyond yourself and your world in order to process ideas with a holistic perspective. Now, some of us only look at the moment. We look at now, we look at today. We don't consider what will happen tomorrow, how will this come out in the bigger picture. So when you start thinking as a skill, using your mind, you learn how to use your mind to look at the bigger picture. How will everything come up when you add on what you are able to do today, or what you want to do tomorrow and the other day, what will come up? And then we also have the focused thinking. This is the ability to think with clarity on issues by removing distractions and mental clutter from your mind. You see, there is a lot of chaos going on. As you're able to think about this, another thing comes, another distraction comes, another one. So that ability to concentrate and be focused, remain focused on something, even amidst all other distractions, is a skill also that you can learn. Then there is what we call creative thinking. This is the ability to break out of your box of limitations and explore ideas and options to experience a breakthrough. Now, you know, most of the limitations that we have or we have put on ourselves are just in our minds. But if you try to name those limitations, I wanted to do this, but this and this and this and this is limiting me, and you're able to name them with clarity, you can be able to find a breakthrough around them. And so you don't have to be stuck or thought. Then we also have realistic thinking. This is the ability to build a solid foundation on facts, to think with certainty. This one is usually found with children who say, me, I can't do this. You see, I am not able to do this. I'm shy, I can't speak and do that. And then we ask them, what facts do you have that actually you can't do this? So at the end of the day, you find that actually the facts are not there. They are just all in our mind. So reality thinking, you put the positive, what you hope to get, what you wish, and also the negative, it will never happen, I'm not good at this and what. And then we find a balance. What if you try, but you try with calculated steps, so that you take calculated risks. Also, we also have strategic thinking. This is the ability to implement plans that give directions for today and increase your potential for tomorrow. Now, you have a big vision. You want to do this and that and that. But what are those plans that you have put in place for today, tomorrow, next week, so that at the end of a certain period that you have set for yourself, you are actually able to achieve your vision? Then we also have reflective thinking. Now, most of us, we do this. This is where we fall. This is the ability to revisit the past in order to gain a true perspective and think with understanding. Now, most of us, we find ourselves dwelling in the past so much. All what is in your mind is what happened, how you felt, all the negative experiences. But then there is a saying that says that experience is the best teacher. But then, may I say, evaluated experience is the best teacher, because life is funny. If something keeps on happening and you don't learn from it, no matter how many times, it will still keep on coming back. So when you sit down and you ask yourself, but what exactly happened? What can I learn from this? How can I use it today so that I improve the future? That is reflective thinking. But when you keep on worrying about what happened, that is rumination. You ruminate, you keep on thinking, you go deeper on the negative that happened, you worry, you get sad. At the end of the day, you end up depressed. And the last one I wanted to share with you, the little skill in the skill of thinking, is shared thinking. Now, this is the ability to include the heads of others to help you think over your head and achieve compounding results. If you're working on a project, or at a strategic level or an institutional level, where whatever you want to come up with is involving other people, then it is very unfair for you to just wake up and you say, this is what I think and that is what will happen, that will be implemented, and yet this is a meeting. So why did you call the meeting in the first place? You would have just sat there, thought, and then you come and tell us what we have to do. But when you have to include others, you realize that sometimes we are limited by our judgment, our bias, and our experience. But when we bring in the minds of others, we are able to generate a bigger picture which will benefit everybody. But we can also use this in our daily life, where you reach a certain point and you feel stuck. So if you have a circle of friends or some people you trust, you tell them, this is what I'm going through, help me think through, what options do I have? So learning is a skill. Are you wondering how to start? You don't have to do much, just a few steps. One, decide on what to think about. Now this must be something that will add value to you or to others. Just to decide what you want to think about, how to progress in your career, how to achieve to settle your marriage, how to stabilize your family, whatever. Just decide what you want to think about. Then you to set aside the time to think every day. Now you don't have to just think far. You can set aside, like if you are a morning person, you can say every time when I wake up for 30 minutes or 1 hour, I will be using this to think about something that you have already decided upon. And then you don't stop there. If you're an evening person, you can think before you go to bed or after work, anywhere. And then you also set a place to think from. You schedule your thoughts. When something is troubling you so much and it is you are being obsessed about it, you can tell it in your mind that, hey, you wait, I will think about you tomorrow at this time. Trust me, it will disappear until that particular time, and then it will come back. So when you set a place to think, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter books, wrote that where you go doesn't matter as long as it stimulates your thinking. It can be just a place in your room. You can put a table. It can be maybe you're outside in your compound and your couch or anywhere else, as long as it stimulates your thinking. So have that dedicated place so that when you go there, you know you've come for a particular purpose and it doesn't have to just happen. So you know you're there for thinking, and that is it. And then next you have to find a process that works for you. You will find another person who will say, I want to be alone. When I'm alone, that's when I generate good ideas. So be it. Decide that this time I will be alone. Remove all the distractions. Get away from everyone and have the time by yourself. And then even there, do you like it sitting? Do you like it lying down? Do you like it standing? Any posture that works for you, find it. And then another person will say, there is a particular kind of music I listen to, and once it plays, then my mind is stimulated. So let it be. Play that music. And then another person will say, I can't be alone, so I need other people. If you have somebody you're comfortable with, that when they're around you, you are able to think, you are able to relax, so invite that person in that place, whether physically or emotionally or just by a phone call. So anything that triggers your thinking, just do that, and doesn't have to be the same for everybody. So next, you capture your thoughts. If you need to learn this habit of writing down your thoughts. If you keep on, you can be at work and say, when I get home I'll do this, but by the time you get home something happens along the way. By the time you reach, you have forgotten. So just cultivate that habit of writing down. Think with a pen and a paper, or think on a pen and paper. You will see the difference. And then after you have thought, then put your thoughts into action quickly. Don't keep on thinking and thinking and thinking. When you have thought, then implement, and then keep on improving daily. It may not be easy for the first time, the second day, the third time, but when you keep doing it consistently, you will find yourself improving. It's there, you will find that even when you want to think, then a negative thought comes in. Focus on the positive. Don't beat yourself so much when you fail for the first time, but keep on improving. But in the process, try to focus on the positive. Even when the situation happens and it is negative, try to ask yourself, what does it want me to learn? What does it want me to do? Like, what can I get from this? So pick the positives and let the negatives be. And then if you can, spend some time with good thinkers. I know there are people in your society that you can emulate, that you think they have done extraordinary well. Some of us Africans, the problems we have, when we see somebody who has something better than we do, we envy them, we become jealous of them instead of learning from them. So I hope you won't be that particular kind of person. When you find somebody who is good at something, learn from them. So how about you try it now? Find that something that is bothering you, decide that you want to think about it in a particular format or way, and then find that time, find that place, and try to pause, relax, and then start thinking. Philippians, in the Bible, Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 to 7 says, do not worry about anything, but in all your prayers ask God for what you need, thanking Him for what He has already done. And God's peace, which surpasses human understanding, shall keep your heart with perfect peace in union with Jesus Christ. Yes, that is the peace I wish you to have. Peace amidst, no matter what you're going through. I pray that you find that peace within your heart, that even when you start to think about what is happening, you think instead of worrying. So this is, again, Margaret Amato Msimbe, your counseling psychologist, coming every week with something about mental health. I hope you keep following, subscribe so that you don't miss anything, like and share. So see you. In case of any questions, you can comment, you can inbox.